Welcome back, everyone. And today we are back for our Chess Masters of the Past series, where we are going to take a look at another great master from Ukraine this time around, whose name is Vsevolod Rauzer. So, Rauzer changed not only chess history, but also chess theory, especially opening theory, when it came to the Sicilian, the open Sicilian. So, very often we castle queenside as white, whereas black castles kingside, which starts all these pawn storms on the different wings. Yeah, if we're talking about the open Sicilian after like d6, d4, pawn takes, knight f6, and we have our normal open Sicilians. Now on the white side, Rauzer, who loved the Sicilian a lot, especially for white, came up with this plan of bishop g5, especially when it came to the two knight Sicilian. So that would look like knight c6, here, knight takes, and then after knight here, d6, bishop g5. And that was Rauzer's move, which is why to this day we call it the Richter-Rauzer attack, with the plan of either f4 or sometimes even queen d2 and castles long. And there are many, many ideas that we use nowadays, like g4 and the pawn storm, that originate with people like Rauzer. You know, even in the Dragon Sicilian, where black plays g6, in Russia and the Soviet Union, they call it the Rauzer attack because of his contributions to this whole idea. So in today's game, we are not playing a Sicilian. Unfortunately, we're not playing the Rauzer attack, but we'll see the majesty and the magnificence of Rauzer anyways. So instead of playing the Rauzer attack with white, he chose to play the French defense with black. He's playing another master by the name of Nikolai Nikolaevich Riumin. And Riumin is also not a bad player, but you should know that Rauzer was, one of the best players of his time. He was born in 1908 in Ukraine, and he was ranked, roughly speaking, in the top 20 of the world at that time. Let's say in the 1930s. So in 1933, he won the Ukrainian championships, and he would beat people like Botvinnik like it was no problem. And you can see why from this game. As you go through this game, focus on the patience in preparation of the attack. Okay, how patiently he gets ready. Let's take a look. We have a very weird French. Okay, this is not exactly what is mainline today. This you don't see this move very often. It's not like d4, knight f3. It's not one of the main variations. It's a weird sideline, and the idea is, let's say if you keep the pawn with something like f5, okay? White is saying, you're gonna keep your extra pawn. I'm going to break down your center, and after you take, I'll take back. Your pawns are bad, your king is bad, backwards pawn here, I'll post there, bad king side here, everything's an issue, and the files will help white. So that was the idea that Riumin came up with, but in this game, it's kind of backfired, okay? So he says, protect your pawn, protect it right now, keep it with your other pawn. Nope. Around this time, people started getting less greedy. And Rauzer says, why should I? You take my pawn. And after you take it, how do you like the pin? How are you enjoying the idea of f5? Enjoying it a lot? Yes. When I take your bishop and your rook and everything else, yes. You like that pin? No, you don't like that pin, so you have to defend, which is easier said than done. Okay, f3 is a very sad move to play. I'm sure it hurt Nikolai. He's like, "Ugh." And he puts the pawn there because he had no choice. Any sort of move like d3 is just losing or close to losing. Maybe king f1 is an improvement, but come on. What kind of opening is this where white has to play king f1 at the start? In the actual game, white said, fine, I'll do it, then I'll castle and I'll be fine. Okay, thanks. Thanks for the center. I'm not gonna let you play f4. No, don't think that you're opening up that bishop. Don't think that you're taking the center. And in the meantime, I'll just be taking all that space for myself since you abolished your right to it. Okay? And after 92, you have no center. You have no control over these squares. They're mine. And so the knight has to go around back home, which brings out our black bishops. Not only is this guy a monster with the long diagonal and the pin, but this guy is becoming a monster. We just have an army of monster bishops. The elephants are causing damage. So White said, no, I don't like you elephants. Let's try to kick them away. You know, in many languages like Russian and I believe Indian, the name for bishop is elephant. So this elephant says, you know what? Let me stick around. Just keep an eye on this pawn. I could go here, but I like my center. So how about we protect it? And later, I'll get you anyways. So Knight tries to make way for the rook. He tries to get ready for the attack. Nope, getting out of here. Before you come in, I'm getting out. After queen e2, he says, may I have my pawn back and please play f4 and give me a little bit of the center? No, not even this much of the center. The center is well protected. Notice how he doesn't rush to anything, right? So a great attacker gets all the pieces ready for the attack, just like in any war. Okay, you don't just throw a soldier and hope that you can break through their defense. No, because this may or may not work. First of all, you're freeing this bishop. After something like knight f4, if you tend to take, this is going to be totally fine for white. And if you don't want to take, if you want to take this knight, for example, you could be better, but you're not winning. Okay? Even taking is totally fine for white, who's happy to remove the barricade from the bishop. So, in the actual game, we get everything ready. Get the queen ready to fire. Get the knight and the rook ready to fire. Every single piece is maximized, okay? If he was a student at my school, I'd say, Rauzer, you're the best attacker I've ever seen. You're so good. I love how you prepare this attack. And everything is ready to fire. Get ready. Get set. He prepares the queen. And almost fire. Before he fires, there's one piece that's missing from this attack. Okay, we have the bishop firing. We have this guy firing. We have the queen firing. Knight is coming in, especially with the help of the pawns. They are coming. This king is lined up perfectly. It's like he wants to get fired at. The rooks are as perfect as they can be. So what's missing? What's the missing ingredient? Oh yeah, that guy. You know where he belongs? Here or somewhere near the center, as we'll see. So he's doing nothing. Let's bring him in. We're not in a hurry, yeah? Are we in a rush? No. It's not like they're going to hurt me. What are they going to do? Throw their knights at me from f2? They're not going to touch me at all. In the meantime, my knight is getting closer and closer. Their knights are going further and further. I'm sure he was scared of knight d4, but that's not exactly improving his defenders. Okay, so they gave us the perfect army, and now it's time to strike. Our pieces have been maximized as much as they could be. The war effort is ready. So get ready, get set, and try to find the best move for black. Okay, how would you start this attack? Now that everything is prepared, your turn. Okay, take 3 seconds and feel free to pause the video. 3, 2, 1. Congratulations if you threw the knight to f4. As you throw the knight to f4, suddenly the diagonal is wide open over here. And it will be opened if we can get the bishop, especially. Okay, and if he dares take my knight with anything, then the file is wide open. If the queen doesn't feel like removing my knight and has to move, then I'll throw out the queen again. And the queen has only one square. Queen takes pawn. I'll take the first guy, and the second guy comes as well. Okay, and now we've opened the way to the light squares. And if you watched my last video on the light square clinic, you know what happens when you lose that light square bishop and no one's there to help them. Okay, no one's there to help light squares, game over. Okay, queen takes f3, queen g2 checkmate after. So in the actual game, he took because he had no choice. If he takes with the bishop, same pain with less reward. Now it's just the same attack, and you don't even have anything for it. In the game, Nikolai said, fine, I'll take your knight if I have to, but I'll throw him back at you. He tries to throw out his extra piece, tries to hold on to the center, and close down our glorious bishops. Well, let's collect what is rightfully ours. No matter what he does, a sacrifice is coming. All right, let me show you this one. Whether he takes with this pawn or that pawn, it doesn't matter because we will have f F3, which is what happened in the game. If he takes the other way, we take and then F3, opening our snipers from afar. Okay, and you'll see how this tactic works in the game. After he took this way, we throw the pawn away. It was only blocking our snipers. Since the sniper is now open, we have the threat of queen takes h2. Okay, queen takes, mate. Rook takes, mate. Only move is bishop takes. What's next on the menu? What should the attack? Where should the attack go from here? Well, how about knight takes? This glorious, beautiful, magnificent move where we give up not only the knight but the queen and say, "Go for it, take whatever you want, because our pieces are ready." Okay, knowing his pieces were ready, Rauzer said, "Take my queen and get mated." Two bishops and a knight is enough at this point. King is wide open. Okay, so the two bishops and knight checkmate worked, and if you take my knight, which is what happens, then there will be another sacrifice. If you don't do anything, then probably I'm taking your bishop, because when the light squares collapse, you're not going to survive. Like rook takes, and then next turn knight takes, and then bishop takes f3 should finish the game. So on that note, he took with the pawn, which didn't really help because we have another glorious sacrifice. We're not done with sacrificing yet. Boom. Okay. We destroyed the light square guard. I'm sure this was second nature to Rauzer, who was used to attacking. If the queen takes, good game, checkmate. If the rook takes, as it has to, then thank you. Rook takes e4. With rook takes e4, we give him a queen. We say, go on, take our queen. You have a discover check, go for it. But it's a trap. If you take this guy, not that it helps you, because queen takes f3, and we collect the whole army. Okay, and as he tries to win the queen, I think Nikolai realized that this girl will not help him anymore, because after queen takes h5, we have the very nice checkmate on e1, double mate. Okay, a bunch of pieces looking that way, and I don't think he calculated all of it right away. Like he probably didn't see this whole thing. Knight f4 just feels right, yeah? You feel like it's time to strike, everything else is ready, and he made common sense moves to get the pieces ready. So that when the tactics began, as they began here, he was totally prepped, totally prepared. And this guy was like, "Oh, what's going on? Wait, give me 2 seconds to organize my knights and put them somewhere." Too late. He was too busy pushing pawns and pushing back his knights. And that's how he lost. So I hope you get to prepare your attacks like Rauzer. Thanks for watching. Until next time.